Welcome to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as Dallas and I are here to announce our next big move, biggest move we've ever made for Revival Today. Behind me is a building that will look nothing like it looks right now when we finish. We're on just under 5 acres of property that we've just finished purchasing, which is going to give us the ability to have a state-of-the-art studio. And in that studio, something I've wanted to have for a long time, which is a live studio audience. It's going to be a 500-seat building when we finish with it that'll give us the ability to touch the world with our broadcasts. This facility is going to give me the ability to do what I've really missed, which is having you in the audience to minister to personally. Obviously, you can't beat the reach of digital media. We touch the whole world every day, but we have the ability now with this to lay hands on people, pray for people that are sick, a place where you can bring people that are drug addicted, demonized, and really give them the ministry that you can't get on YouTube and Facebook. I can't wait. And then beyond that, we're going to announce the launch of Revival Today Church. We're going to hold Holy Ghost church services every Sunday morning. I'll be there most Sunday mornings. This isn't going to be like some little side project. We're going to give you and your family a place you can go that's a soul-winning church that values the presence of God, where you can get prayed for and ministered to, where there's not a critical race theory lecture or a mask and social distancing 10 minutes of no talking to anybody in the lobby. None of that. We're going to have a place where you're free and where you're free to experience the presence of God.
I'm incredibly excited because I know a lot of you have been asking about different meetings and events that we couldn't have during COVID, and trust me, we tried so hard. So this really frees us up to do everything that we want to do with healing meetings and women's conferences. So I am so looking forward to seeing you and having you be a part of this.
So I want to give you a twofold call to action. Number one, if your church turned in to a liberal nightmare in 2020 and you need a place to go, I would be happy to have you at our church. Number two, if you are a partner or a friend of our ministry, Revival Today, this is the biggest move by far we've ever made. By the time we finish remodeling that building, the acquiring of the property, you're looking at a couple of M's. So if you would stand with us now, I'll say thank you ahead of time. Pray and ask the Holy Ghost what He would have you to do. You've been so generous, and I thank you ahead of time for your extreme generosity. I know I speak on behalf of my wife, everybody here at Revival Today, when I say we love you very much. And now I can say I look forward to seeing you face to face here at the new home of Revival Today.
Hey.
Good morning, everybody. Was that it? Okay. Markets are open. And what's it looking like? 23 points on the Dow, 7 on the S&P, and 22 on the NASDAQ. Fairly flat to start out the day. Let's take a look at cryptocurrency. Bitcoin closing in on its all-time highs. Ethereum almost up to 4,000. Cardano 215. XRP 112. Dogecoin 25 cents, not $25. Thank you, everybody. Good morning. D&D Investments from Portland, Oregon. Where's everybody watching from? Christopher's from Indianapolis in the house. Kevin, good morning. And from Nottawa, Michigan. Welcome to Check the Market, where we check the market. Got our little diamond hands guy right there, sitting in our Check the Market mug. San Antonio, Texas in the house. Louisville, Canada, Massachusetts. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you share the broadcast. France is in the house. That's awesome. Where in France? Been there a couple times. Chilly, Florida. How chilly? If it's like 65 degrees, then that's not chilly. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Looks like stocks are trying to edge higher, but just not enough steam at this point. Perpignan at the Spanish border. I've never been there. I've been to Normandy, southern France, and Paris, and then Strasbourg. Kofi watching from Zabzugu, Ghana. Welcome, Kofi. Marissa from Perth, Western Australia. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Sandra, good morning. Got people from all over the world watching. Michael, good morning. Welcome to Check the Market. Facebook is rebranding, taking over the world. And Netflix earnings beat. All right, let's get into it. See what's going on today. Richard's watching from a basement chained to a radiator. Someone called the police. That area of France is beautiful. Good morning, Justin. What happened to my tree? That is true. What happened to my tree? It's not here today. All right, let's see the first article, see what's going on. 28 stocks to benefit from inflation, according to Jim Cramer. So this is Jim Cramer. This is not me, but I mean, I thought there was some, a couple of good ideas in there. So let's see it. Continue. CNBC's Mad Money, Jim Cramer advised against falling into the trap of thinking that the whole market will get wrecked by persistent inflation. He said there were vast swaths of the market that could benefit from inflation, including some banking, tech, and large pharma stocks. That's a huge chunk of this market, unlike any combination I've ever seen. Plenty of winners out there if you just stop freaking out and start looking at the opportunities. Yes, I agree. Thank you, Jim Cramer, for saying that. And he's the only one on CNBC that isn't peddling chaos all the time. Cramer recommended the following stocks to benefit from inflation. So here's a list. If you'd like to take a screenshot, take a look at them, see if there's any that you like. These are from Jim Cramer. Let's see them. Chevron. I like Chevron. Devon Energy. Haven't looked at it. Pioneer Natural Resources, Coterra, Cheniere Energy, Tellurian, Enterprise Product Partners, Williams Companies, continue. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, Tech, Salesforce, Adobe, Workday, Amazon, Microsoft, whole bunch of other ones. Palo Alto Networks, which has been on our list to research before, AMD, Applied Materials, Facebook, and then Johnson & Johnson, Eli Lilly for Big Pharma. I don't know why he had those in there. Continue. Probably because he's invested. He's got to, pump the stocks a little bit. Continue. Facebook confirms Novi wallet to launch with Diem Crypto Network. So Facebook looks like they're getting in the cryptocurrency space. I know that a while back they were trying to launch a cryptocurrency, and it was a massive fail. What was it called? Do you guys remember? Libra. Facebook Libra is what it was called. And everybody freaked out. They did not want Facebook to have a cryptocurrency. And here they are, trying again. Let's see it. Social media giant Facebook made an announcement about two projects, one of which many had thought been put on hold indefinitely. I didn't think they're going to try again. According to a Tuesday Cointelegraph report, a Facebook spokesperson confirmed the company has not abandoned its plans to launch its Diem cryptocurrency network and intends to do it alongside the Novi digital wallet it is now testing. In fact, the anonymous informed said, "We intend to launch Novi with Diem once it receives regulatory approval and goes live." The news follows a recent report that Facebook is looking to hire 10,000 people in the European Union as part of a futuristic bet. The firm plans to leverage the newly acquired workforce to develop its vision of the metaverse, a digital realm where people could share experiences while being far apart, leveraging augmented reality and virtual reality devices. The company's CEO Mark Zuckerberg has gone as far as to say that he expects people will transition from seeing Facebook primarily as a social media company to seeing us as a metaverse company. So it looks like he's been taking some pages out of Elon Musk's book there. Continue. Continue. So Facebook starting a metaverse. That's interesting. What's the book? I had to read it in high school. Fahrenheit 451. It's probably banned now. But when I was in high school, I had to read that book, and I remember there's parts in there where somebody was in like a augmented reality and they would stay in it all day. That kind of reminded me of that. I thought that was interesting. Tesla earnings today. Bearish on earnings for Tesla. How come, Joshua? I thought that they'd be cranking after earnings. It's aftermarket today. Netflix Q3 earnings highlights subscriber gain, revenue beat, and a mind-boggling Squid Game metric. Let's see it. Has anybody watched Squid Game yet? I have not. Netflix reported third quarter revenue of $7.48 billion. The company reported earnings of $3.19 per share, which beat the street consensus of $2.56 for the quarter. That's huge. Revenue was up 16% year over year. The company added 4.4 million net subscribers, ending the quarter with 214 million paid subscribers. After lighter than normal content sale in Q1 and Q2, due to COVID-related production delays in 2020, we're seeing the positive effects of a stronger slate in the second half of the year. The company said in its release. Netflix reported a net gain in subscribers for the UCAN region. United States, Canada, I would say. After the second saw a year-over decline, the Asia-Pacific, I would say Asia-Pacific region, grew subscribers by 4% year over year, and it was the strongest region for membership gains for the second consecutive quarter. Continue. Netflix said it'll shift to reporting on hours viewed for titles instead of numbers of accounts going forward. Oh, okay. So they don't think that growth is going to be that stellar then. They'll shift from reporting on hours viewed for titles instead of numbers of accounts. That's interesting. The streaming giant reported it had a 6% market share of total US TV time compared to competitors like Hulu, 3%, Prime 2%, and Disney Plus at 1%. YouTube was tied at 6% market share. That's interesting that they would do that, because it's not going to tell you exactly how many subscribers they have. That would make me not want to invest in the company. Because if you don't have that many subscribers, just hours viewed, there's people that leave Netflix on when they go out and Netflix is still playing on the television. Or Rom said falling asleep. Netflix said Money Heist and Sex Education were the biggest returning shows in the quarter and were watched by 69 million and 55 million respective member households. Mind-boggling, 142 million member households globally have chosen to watch the title in its first 4 weeks. Squid Game has been the biggest one. Biggest TV show ever in Netflix history. Wow. I watched the trailer and I'm going to be honest, I didn't think it was... I was like, I'm not interested in this. Too much risk for earnings play on Tesla. Yeah, I know. That is true, because there could always be a surprise somewhere. Or, they could beat something and then... I know what you mean there. Bigger than Tiger King, I guess. Tiger King. The show, are you serious? The show was $21 million and they made $900 million from Squid Game. That's a nice profit right there. There's like Bitcoin level profit. All right, we can go to the next one. Winnebago Industries stock gains on Q4 earnings beat. This is for Adalis and Megalis right here. Winnebago Industries stock gains, huge stock gains. Let's see it. Winnebago Industries fourth quarter fiscal year 21 sales growth of 40.4% year on year to 1.04 billion, beating the analyst consensus of 958 million. The towable segment revenue grew 35.3% year over year, driven by unit growth due to the strong end consumer demand and increasing pricing across the segment. Motorhome revenue of 448 million increased 48%, driven an increase in Class B and Class 8 unit sales and pricing across the segment. I see way more motorhomes driving on the highway than I ever have before. Gross profit increased 52%. Winnebago's cash and equivalents total 434 million as of August 28th. And it generated 237.3 million in operating cash flow for the full year. Motorhome segment backlog increased to 2.3 billion, up 119%. Wow, that's crazy. So Winnebago, great earnings beat. Next. Bitcoin's up to 65 now? Oh, wow, 65.7. Man. Going to 100,000. I think more people just want to be able to get out. So last year, a lot of people decided that they want to be able to travel on their terms and not have to rely on the airlines or anything like that for vacations. And so they bought motorhomes. And that trend hasn't let up. It's still going. Global Foundries commands $25 billion valuation for US IPO. So that's one of the companies that I've been keeping an eye on for IPO. So there's the valuation. Let's see it. Mubadala investment-backed Global Foundries chipmaker has set a price range of $42 to $47 a share, implying a valuation of $25 billion in its IPO. Global Foundries can raise a maximum offering proceeds of $2.6 billion, according to a Reuters report. Global Foundries aims to list on the Nasdaq under the symbol GFS. Mubadala, which is selling 22 million shares in the IPO, will retain an 89.4% stake in Global Foundries and control 89.4% of the voting power following the listing and private placement. Global Foundries revenue declined since 2018, but the growth rebounded over the past 12 months over surging demand for chips. So this is a company that I am interested in, and I will be taking a look at once it has its IPO. GFS. Global Foundries, a chip maker. Continue. Micron considering new US memory chip factory as it gears up spending. This is good news for the US. A lot of companies are doing this. They're bringing factories back to the US. Mainly due to what's going on with supply chain. It's going to end up being cheaper in the long run. Let's see it. Micron Technology said on Wednesday it's considering building a new memory factory in the United States, but that state and federal subsidies will be needed to offset costs that are higher than its factories in Asia. The Boise, Idaho-based company is the only American firm that makes both key types of memory chips, competing against South Korea's Samsung and SK Hynix and Japan's, whatever that is, Toshiba's former memory chip unit. Micron has pilot manufacturing lines for developing new technology at its Idaho headquarters and a factory in Virginia that turns out special high-reliability chips for automobiles, but its most advanced memory chips, which go into devices including PCs, phones, and data centers, are made in Taiwan, Japan, and Singapore. Sumit Sadana, Micron's chief business officer, told Reuters memory chips are about 30% of the global semiconductor market, but only 2% are made in the United States. Continue. They should have taken this a look at this a long time ago, because I feel like chips like that are definitely what do they call it? Like a defense thing. Like they're important for defense of the country. I forget what the term is for that. Continue. That is right. Product made in the US can't get stranded in the ocean on a cargo ship. We certainly want to very seriously assess manufacturing in the US because the US ought to have more than 2% of memory chip manufacturing for the sake of national security. That's the word I was looking for. I don't know why that escaped me. For the sake of national security and for the sake of supply chain resiliency, Sadana said in an interview. Sadana said the company has not yet settled on a country for its next factory for advanced chips. The factories will acquire tools such as ASML Holdings, extreme ultraviolet lithography machines, which can cost more than $100 million each. ASML, which has also been on our stocks to research, showing up a lot lately. Micron plans to spend up to $12 billion in capital expenditures and $3 billion on research and development next year, and up to $150 billion over the next decade. So Micron bringing factories back to the US. Micron estimates costs for memory manufacturing are 45% higher in the United States than in Asia. He said Micron's decision will depend on whether US subsidies for building factories and investment tax credits for expensive tools, both of which are being debated in the US Congress, are put in place. Continue. Take a look at Bitcoin again. Is it still cruising? 65. Oh, looking good. Let me take a look at my my Bitcoin portfolio here just to make myself happy a little bit. Look at that. I love it when you see a straight line up. Now we just need XRP to go to the moon. Been waiting. It's at 112. $27 next. Facebook plans new group name to revamp image, says The Verge. So Facebook trying to rebrand after all the bad press they've been getting lately. Let's see it. Bitcoin Cash. What do you think Bitcoin Cash is going to go to? CEZ. I haven't heard of that one. Let me take a look. Zcash? Let me write these down. ZEC. Bitcoin Cash. I have Bitcoin Cash. 2,500 plus. That would not be bad. What is Bitcoin Cash at right now? 630. I got it around 400 and something. 500. It was close to $500. So that would not be a bad gain right there. EOS 25 plus. Bitcoin is cruising. So is Ethereum. Looking good for crypto today. That's for sure. MU, that's right. MU for Micron. Micron's a good company. Continue. Facebook is under fire from regulators and lawmakers over its business practices. It's planning to rebrand itself with a new group name that focuses on the metaverse. The Verge reported on Tuesday, MetaBook or something like that. The name change will be announced next week, The Verge reported, citing a source with direct knowledge of the matter. What do you think the name will be? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to go with MetaBook. Something like that. Let's continue. Facebook is under wide-ranging scrutiny from global lawmakers and regulators over its content moderation practices and harms linked to its platforms, with internal documents leaked by a whistleblower forming the basis for a U.S. Senate hearing last week. Having a different parent brand will guard against having this negative association transferred into a new brand or other brands that are in the portfolio. Continue. Just change your name. If something goes wrong, just change your name. Last month, Facebook appointed Andrew Bosworth, who heads up the social media company's augmented reality and virtual reality efforts, including products like Oculus Quest, VR headset. Metaverse, first coined in a dystopian novel 3 decades earlier, is popular in Silicon Valley and has been referenced by other tech firms such as Microsoft. The popular children's game Roblox describes itself as a metaverse company. So that's what they're trying to do. So it's like a Facebook that's like Roblox, or what's the other game called? With all the like pixelated stuff. Minecraft. So basically Facebook wants to be a Skynet. Bookface. That's good. Facebook will be called Brandon. So yeah, they want to have like a Minecraft, so you can meet people in this virtual reality, I guess, instead of having to meet them in real life. It's horrible. Continue. Federal Reserve Chair Powell's 5 measuring sticks on inflation aren't holding up very well. Surprise, surprise. Virtual insanity. Continue. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, during his August speech at the annual Jackson Hole Symposium, which was virtual, they didn't actually go to Jackson Hole, so, you know, it's kind of sad they didn't get a vacation out there, laid out 5 reasons supporting his view that the current run on high inflation will go away. So far, they aren't holding up very well. In fact, there are weaknesses in each of the 5 planks that, if not thwarting it altogether, at least undermine the Fed's inflation position and give markets and consumers plenty to watch. The risk for the Fed is that even if the transitory story is ultimately right, it could face a crunch point. End of this year / early next, when these tests to come under stress. At Jackson Hole, Powell mentioned inflation 89 times in his speech, titled Monetary Policy in the Time of COVID. Continue. While he acknowledged that inflation is elevated, he also said that conditions around it are dynamic. He then listed 5 criteria he would assess how things are going and wrapped up the passage by insisting that the economy would trend back to full employment and inflation would return to the Fed's 2% goal. Powell's 5-point inflation checklist goes like this: lack of broad-based pressures, lower moves in high inflation items, low wage pressures, tepid inflation expectations, and long-lasting forces that have kept inflation low globally. That's why I don't think that it's gonna go anywhere. Consumer expectation for inflation continued to surge, rising to 5.3 over the next year and 4.2 over the next 3 years, according to the New York Fed. Both are the highest in the history of a data series that goes back 8 years. Oh, we'll see if Powell will be right, but it looks like his transitory position is not correct at this point. Continue. DNC chat. They should have had like a public forum for the name for Facebook. Continue. We can go to the next article. Enough with Jerome Powell. Democrats to raise proposed IRS reporting threshold to 10,000 from 600. Still not happy with it. Continue. They're really trying to push this through. Senior Democrats in Congress have agreed to raise their proposed tax reporting threshold for bank account inflows and outflows to $10,000 a year, with exemptions for wage income from an earlier proposal of $600 that drew criticism for being too intrusive. U.S. Senate Finance Committee Chairman Ron Wyden on Tuesday said the new $10,000 Internal Revenue Service reporting threshold, to be included in Democrats' sweeping reconciliation and social spending and tax hike legislation, was chosen after consultations with the U.S. Treasury because it's a level frequently used in other bank reporting requirements. These include requirements for banks to report, aggregate cash transactions of 10,000 or more under anti-money laundering rules, but that's just cash. Now they want to look at everything. If I was them, I would use something like this to eventually snoop on bank accounts. That's why I don't like this. I see where something like this can eventually go and where something like this could eventually lead. And that's why I don't. Even if it's 10,000, they make it 100,000. I don't care. I don't think it's right. Continue. The proposal does not identify individual transactions, but gross annual inflows or outflows to help the IRS identify where wealthy taxpayers who do not rely on regular W-2 wage income may be hiding opaque source of business or investment income. Wyden and Senator Elizabeth Warren said the revised proposal would exclude W-2 wage income from the inflows and outflows data reporting requirement. Many Americans have their paychecks automatically deposited into their bank accounts. Wyden said the revised proposal would potentially raise hundreds of billions of dollars by catching tax evaders, but declined to provide a specific estimate. This is about wealthy business owners at the tippy top of the top. Who talks like that? That's where the unpaid taxes are. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on Tuesday endorsed the proposal, saying it would make it harder for wealthy Americans to hide sources of income from taxation, allowing the IRS to target them for audits. I don't like this. I see where it eventually could go. $10,000 is better than $600, but they need to get rid of this altogether. That's for sure. XRP 114. It's nobody's business. There's a reason this is called the land of the free. Continue. The Treasury estimates that the cost of tax evasion among the top 1% of taxpayers exceeds $160 billion annually, part of a tax gap between taxes owed and those collected, estimated at more than $7 trillion over a decade. Today's new proposal reflects the administration's strong belief that we should zero in on those at the top of the income scale who don't pay the taxes they owe, while protecting American workers by setting the bank account threshold at $10,000 and providing exemption for wage earners like teachers and firefighters. So if you're a teacher or a firefighter or a politician, then you can hide your money, but if you're not, then you can't. This is ridiculous. Continue. Bank of America warns 0% returns over the next 10 years, but here's the one key strategy to fight it. I thought this was interesting. Let's see it. Yeah, they can't control or regulate it, so they want to see bank transactions, to question transactions. Exactly. It's not right. They need to stop doing this stuff. Are stocks setting up for another decade of monstrous returns? Bank of America doesn't think so. In fact, the banking giant's valuation model is forecasting a flat return for the stock market over the next decade. Depressing, right? Not really, because there's still opportunities. But here's the good news. Bank of America, U.S. equity and quant strategist Savita Subramanian, hope I said that right, highlighted one specific approach that could be critical to investors over the next 10 years: reinvesting dividends. Subramanian suggested looking at dividend growth stocks from the following three sectors. They might be worth sprinkling some of your spare change on. Let's see it. AT&T has an 8% dividend return. Year-to-date, Chevron shares are up about 30%, ExxonMobil 50%, while ConocoPhillips is up a whopping 88%. So that's energy. So take a look at it. Bank of America says take a look at energy. Continue. Banks, financial companies, especially banks, they have fairly good dividends. Goldman Sachs recently boosted its quarterly payout by 60% to $2 per share. Continue. So I want you to look at energy. And then third is materials, which I agree with. Materials are definitely undervalued, and mining especially. And there's a high demand for mined materials. Freeport, Micron, Linde, DuPont, companies like that. So take a look at those. I think that some of these dividend yield companies moving forward, if the stock market doesn't bring, returns like it did this year, where it's up over 30% or whatever, 20 something percent, these companies are definitely going to get some inflows because of their dividend yields. Continue. We'll go to the next one. Tesla poised for record quarterly earnings on supply chain resilience. So we'll take a look at that. That'll be after the market today. We'll take a look at that tomorrow. We can go to the next article. Next article. Gary Gensler explains why SEC approves a Bitcoin futures ETF. So yesterday, the Bitcoin futures ETF went public with over $1 billion in inflows, I believe it was. Let's see the article. SEC Chairman Gary Gensler has shared why the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission decided to approve a Bitcoin futures exchange-traded fund to trade on the New York Stock Exchange. Meanwhile, the commission has not approved a spot Bitcoin ETF. As the futures-based Bitcoin exchange-traded fund in the U.S., what was he saying? In an interview with CNBC Tuesday, Gary Gensler reiterated that his agency should be technology neutral but not policy neutral. What we're trying to do is ensure that the best we can within our authorities to bring projects into the investors' protection perimeter. Bitcoin futures have been overseen by our sibling agency, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, which I was once honored and proud to serve there, and that's been 4 years. Continue. He added that one of the applications went effective with regard to those products over at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. that our sibling agency oversees, responding to a question about why the SEC has approved a Bitcoin futures ETF but not a spot Bitcoin ETF. Gensler noted that he will not comment on any specific application or project. However, the SEC chief clarified, what you have here is a product that's been overseen for years by a US federal regulator, the CFTC, and that's been wrapped inside of something that's within our jurisdiction called the Investment Company Act of 1940. So we have some ability to bring it inside of investor protection, while emphasizing that Bitcoin is still a highly speculative asset class, and listeners should understand that underneath this, it still has the same aspect of volatility and speculation. Our sister agency is overseeing this for 4 years and then brings it inside of an 80-year-old law here at the SEC. The ProShares Bitcoin ETF, BITO, began trading Tuesday on the New York Stock Exchange. Let's actually see where it's trading at here. Let me log in real quick. Up 3% today. $8.1 million in volume for today. Not too bad. Let's see. Continue. Bros just took a dive this morning. I'm still up 19%. Should I sell or hold? Take a look. Oh wow, they're down 7% today. Up to $60 a share. I think $60 a share is a pretty fair price for this company. If you're up 19%, I usually like to see, between 10 and 20%. So if you're up 19%, if it was me, I would take some profit and then just leave the rest in there. And then if there's a dip in the stock, if I like it, you can buy some more. That's usually what I do in those cases. I'm not going to tell you to sell. I'm not going to tell you to hold. But what I would do in a situation like that is, because $60 I think is a good price for it. So I would take some profit off the table. That's what I would do. I'm not telling you to do that. And it might keep moving up. Who knows? We might see, $70 here within the next couple of weeks. But it is in that post-IPO volatility stage where things can still go south, or they can, depending on how investors like it. It has been fairly volatile, that's for sure, to the upside. All right, let's go over some stocks to research for you today. Low risk XME. XME, SPDR, S&P Metals and Mining ETF. This ETF seeks to track the performance of the S&P Metals and Mining Select Industry Index. It has a 2-star Morningstar rating, so fairly high risk, even though I have it in the low category, because it is it's an exchange traded fund. There's no way that the economy will be able to sustain itself without a boost to mining and commodity infrastructure, which has been ignored for decades, especially in the US. Although this ETF is up 81% over the last year, I think it's a good diversified ETF in the mining sector, and I think this ETF has room to grow. especially if people start looking for more value, which eventually will happen when they run out of room to see growth in tech and other stocks like that, which a lot of them seem very expensive. The overall the market overall is a little expensive, but I see value in something like XME. Just like there was value in energy, 2 years ago. What is it? Yeah, it's almost 2 years ago now. There's value in energy, but people did not invest in energy because all the analysts were saying, "Oh, energy's done. They're in a slump, whatever." I think mining is almost at that same place right now, where oil was a year and a half, 2 years ago, where everything was at all-time lows. Even though it has gone up, there's a couple of companies that have gone back down 30-40% this year when it comes to mining. Another low risk I have for you today is GLD. GLD, SPDR gold shares. The investment seeks to reflect the performance of the price of gold bullion. The trust holds gold bars and from time to time issues baskets in exchange for deposits of gold and distributes gold with redemption. Basically, you're investing in gold paper, so instead of buying physical gold, you buy paper gold. Gold has underperformed so far this year. It's currently trading around $100 over its 52-week low. It's down about 8% for the year, gold is. So there's definitely some room for growth there, especially if investors are seeking a safe haven. I've added gold to my list of stocks to buy, and I just bought some yesterday, actually, some GLD. If it keeps going down, I'll add to my position as liquidity in my portfolio allows me to. Currently, I'm sitting at around 3% GLD in my portfolio. So 3% of my total portfolio is gold. Medium risk, ADM, Archer Daniels Midland. It's a processor of oilseeds, corn, wheat, cocoa, and other agricultural commodities. I think we've had this one before. This company manufactures protein meal, vegetable oil, corn sweeteners, flour, biodiesel, ethanol. It's a mid-cap agricultural organization. Revenue has been fairly flat. Past couple of years, it has a 1.65x price to book value. It's considered at a discount compared to its competitors. It has a dividend yield of around 2.29%, which is not too shabby. If I bought it today around $64 a share, I'd try to get at least 70, 72 before I sell. They'll be reporting earnings on 10/26, so 6 days from now. And I'll be interested to see what they have to say about the overall agricultural market and how they're faring with everything that's going on. Risks include volatility in commodity prices and reliance on trade with China. This is one that I picked. I'm going to keep an eye on over the next couple of days to see if I want to add it to my portfolio, depending on what they do at earnings on 10/26. So Archer Daniels Midland, take a look at it, see if that's something you'd like. Thank you, Katie. Better to hold a non-qualified account as a tax reporting. It is in a non-qualified account. I collect silver too, silver rounds. So actual silver coins and little 1-ounce silver bars. Every month I buy some of those. So those are the stocks to research for today. XME, take a look at it. Take a look at the mining and metals sector overall and see if there's a company that you like, a company that's trading at a discount, that's trading below book value or almost at book value. Because I think that at some point here, we're going to see value go into these mining stocks again. GLD and then ADM for Archer Daniels Midland. Take a look at those. So that's it for today. If you would like to invest in Revival today, you can do so, and we will send you this Check the Market mug right here that has our little diamond hands guy sitting in it. As you can see, you can fit your whole hand in it, and we'll send you that. We got some more coming in, and we'll send those out to you. So if you haven't got one, or if you only have one, might as well get another one. Get a whole collection of them. That way when you set the table for breakfast, everybody can have a Check the Market mug. So for a donation of any size today, if you partner with us here at Revival Today, we'll send you that mug. And you can do so by doing hashtag donate and the amount on Facebook. And text RT to 50155. $ RT Give on Cash App, Venmo at RT Give, revivaltoday.com/PayPal if you'd like to give by PayPal. Then we also accept cryptocurrencies. If you scan the QR code there's a whole bunch of them. Cryptocurrencies are cranking right now. So you can scan that code that you'll see on your screen. Almost at 66,000 on Bitcoin. We're over 4,000 on Ethereum at this point. Very nice. You can put up the cryptocurrency one. There we go. You can scan that code if you'd like to donate by cryptocurrency. And if there's any cryptocurrency that is not listed, you can call our office at 412-446-2332. You can also send us a check, Revival Today, P.O. Box 7, Prosperity, Pennsylvania. And I believe the zip code is 15329. 15329. Oh, in a qualified account. I see. Yeah, no, it's not in a qualified account. It's in just I don't actually have a Roth an IRA or a Roth IRA. The only time that I would get a Roth IRA is if I was doing what the gentleman from PayPal did, the founder of PayPal, where I would use it to put my own company stock in it. Thank you, Kofi. Then don't forget to claim your offer, which is that beautiful Check the Market mug. And make sure you tune in again at 11 a.m. for Revival Today Live. At 4 p.m., Revival Today Live with Maddie. Check the news at 10 p.m. Morning prayer tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. with Evangelist Kofi. And then check the market again at 9:20 a.m. And I will see you then. Bitcoin is almost at 66,000. Getting close. Where's the market at? Oh, market's up now. 100 points on the Dow, 13 on the S&P, and 20 on the NASDAQ. So go out there and make some money today. And I will see you tomorrow at 9:20 a.m. See ya.